right. Hi, y'all. Welcome back to the channel. If you are a brick lover and you like building bricks, you like watching us speed build, you like micro bricks, you like nano bricks, you like standard bricks, you are in the right place because that is what we are here for. And big or small, I build them all. Scott is not a big fan of the small builds, but I really have grown to like the small builds. They have been an acquired taste for me. If you guys have watched the channel, I've got about 4,000 views on the cherry blossom set that we built, and it was one of the first builds that we ever did, then tried with alternate bricks. And we were kind of like the people who we see in our alternate brick groups on Facebook, and that is that we literally were like, oh my gosh, look at how many bricks that is, and look at how cool that build is, and it's only like 27 bucks. It must be so cool. And we had no idea that there were different sized bricks at that time. And so we got it, and then I started building it, and I was like, I can do this. I can do anything. Well, that micro brick set was a pretty difficult set. And I can tell this because a lot of people still come to look to see if we have instructions for that build because it was such a difficult build. So I've learned a lot since then. And I said at the end of that video, I was never going to do a micro brick set again. And here I am now talking to you about micro bricks and mini bricks. Some accidentally purchased, some purchased on purpose. We're going to get into that. But the first thing that I wanted to do was talk to you about sizes of bricks. So a lot of people will show you the pictures of bricks, and this is what I see on blogs. And you will see the micro brick is an 8mm by 8mm 2x2 brick. The mini brick is a 12mm by 12mm brick, so you can see the difference between these two bricks. And then we have a standard brick, and a standard brick is a 16mm by 16mm. Okay, so that is the difference in the sizes. The mini brick is 3/4 the size of a standard piece, and the micro brick is 1/2 the size of a standard piece. Now, when I was playing around, what I started doing was looking into the main names when it comes to micro bricks. And the main names when it comes to micro bricks are Nanoblocks and Lowe's. There are other micro bricks makers out there. Some of them, and I have a list in front of me, are LNO, PZX, XY Blocks, and then we have Nanoblock and Lowe's. I have probably built with some of these, but I'm not super familiar with all of these sets, but I am now familiar with the Lowe's Diamond Block and the Nanoblock sets, and so I'm going to speak about these in particular. I thought I would look at a side-by-side comparison of these sets, and so I got a Nanoblock set when I started thinking about doing this video, and I got the Nanoblock set at Epcot. And when I bought this Nanoblock set, I bought Pikachu, I bought Snorlax, and I bought these two anime characters. Okay, those were my Nanoblock sets. I also went ahead and ventured out onto Amazon, and I got this cute little panda Nanoblock set, and I have built these all on the channel. I didn't have the experience with the Lowe's Diamond Block. Lowe's Diamond Block is supposedly a knockoff of the Nanoblock. I honestly couldn't find research to tell me which one was which. Nanoblock is a Japanese company, and it is Kawada. That is the manufacturer name. And they license, and again, forgive me, I'm going to read this off this, Hello Kitty, Cinnamon Roll, Pokemon, Disney, as well as other things. Okay, so obviously some anime characters, and they get licenses for their sets. They started in 2008. Those started in 1998. And I got differing views on Lowe's. On some of the Lowe's website, they state that they're a German company, the Lowe's Group company that does all their manufacturing in China. AI tells me it's not really a German company, it's a Chinese company. I can't find clear cut, but a lot of blogs out there tell you that this Lowe's set is a knockoff of the Nanoblock set. Now, The one definitive thing, there are instructions on how to build this Nanoblock set out there on YouTube dating 2016. And on the Lowe's website, the earliest post was 2019. So it is entirely possible that Lowe's is a knockoff of Nanoblock. Having said that, these are identical builds. There is nothing different about these creatures. They are both exactly the same Pikachu. The colors are in the same block. The blocks are in the same block. The only thing that's different is the instructions and how they connect together. And I'm going to talk about instructions later. And the other thing that is different is that the Lowe's actually came with a cute little stand, kind of like a brick head, where the Pikachu sits on top of this, and it has a Lowe's printed piece to say that it is Lowe's. The other thing that is different just in looking at these two is that the Nanoblock set is a shinier brick and the Lowe's set is a matte brick. Other than that, no difference between the two. So what I did was I said, okay, let's find another way to show people the difference between these sizes of these bricks rather than just looking at bricks. So I built Lowe's diamond brick. They also call it a small particle brick. I built the nano brick, and I took the instructions and I made a mini brick Pikachu so that you can see it next to the micro Pikachu, and I made a standard block Pikachu. Granted, not in the same colors. I did what I could on them, but you can see, again, half the size, 3/4 of the size, standard, mini, micro. I will put these up on the screen over here and I will show you what they look like and what their sizes are. I'll put them up next to measurement tape so that you can kind of see it. But I thought this was a really cool 3-dimensional way to show you the difference between the sizes and how they look. And so given that, you actually have a much smaller footprint with a mini brick than you do with a standard brick. And that is kind of the benefit of a micro or a mini brick, is that you can get something that's really cool, but it's maybe not as big as a standard block. And pretty much if you can find it in a standard block, you can probably find it in a mini brick. So I'm going to speak to the companies that I know best, which are going to be Lowe's and Nanoblock. All right, so when I'm discussing the difference between these bricks, I'm going to show you that the Nanoblock has a different locking system in the back than a Lowe's block. And I'm talking strictly the micro bricks right now. So with a micro brick, if you're talking about a nano block, they have a double fin locking system. So what does that mean? That means that in the middle, they have 2 little fins, and those fins lock the studs in place. So they lock them into a channel. And I'm going to show you a picture up over here. Now, the Lowe's micro block and mini block use a tube lock system. So the tube lock system is what your standard blocks use. That's what Lego uses. That's what Go Brick uses. And with a tube lock, there's a tube in the middle of the brick. And so the studs lock in not to a channel, but to a specific location. So that when you're putting blocks together, the studs go into a specific location so that the bricks fit perfectly. The problem with a double fin system is that your bricks don't always fit perfectly. You have to be careful because there's a little bit of schlop when you're putting them together. And so when you're building things that maybe are a little bit bigger, what's going to happen is you might have to shift your brick a little bit in order for it to fit quite right. I ran across this when I built this really cool Triceratops with Nanoblock. This is a Nanoblock Triceratops, clearly much bigger scale than these little creatures. And he is really cool. He has an articulating tail. He has legs and feet that move. His mouth moves. And so he is very strong, very well put together. And I don't have any problems with these Nanoblocks wanting to fall apart. the double fin locking system is really good, especially when you have like squares, nice squares together. And so, but I had to shift some of my bricks that were longer, that were like a 2x4, in order to fit bricks next to them occasionally, because they just didn't quite sit where they were supposed to when you were building up and out. I'm going to say, if you can find it in a standard brick, you can probably find it in a micro or a mini brick within reason. They have tons of characters. They have a ton of characters coming out. They've got some Pokemon characters coming out that are pre-order right now. Super cute. They've got all the different colors of bricks that you can find in standard bricks, you can find in mini bricks, and you can find in micro bricks. They've got the translucent, they've got the cloudy, they've got, the main colors. I don't see any problems with the colors of the bricks. I feel like their color is reliable. Mini brick sets, pretty much, if you can imagine it, it's going to happen. Lowe's has these street minis, which are really small modulars, and they have got a ton of design to them. They are absolutely phenomenal when it comes to the detail that is involved in this set and how they use the mini bricks to get this detail. I mean, I have seen standard brick sets that are less detailed than this brick set. I also love these really artistic characters that they have on the top of these mini street sets. Now, this mini street set is not an opening one. You can see the front and the back of it, but it is just astounding what you can find. This is a new find for me. This is Opera Geisha, and she has the flags back there, and she's a brickhead form. And then this mini brick set is neither Lowe's nor other sets. Other manufacturers I have found have been Zin Toys and Ballady. They make the mini bricks, and they have minifigures. This set has 4 minifigures, and the minifigures are obviously 3/4 the size of a Lego minifigure, and clearly they are not the quality of a Lego minifigure. They're just not, but they're cute and they're trying, which I appreciate, and I kind of like. They're kind of a pain to put together. Brick quality of Lowe's, second to none. I was playing with this earlier. The brick hold is pretty good. I'm picking it up by the tail. It's holding. If I try to pick it up by the ear, we're going to have a little bit more problems because it's only held on by one stud. But I have found that the brick quality and the brick hold is phenomenal when it comes to Lowe's and Nanoblock. The next thing I want to talk about are instructions. So when it comes to instructions and building with a micro build or a mini build, you will find that they're kind of all over the mark. But 90% of the time that I have done a mini build, I have not necessarily had a book that has come with it. The Karen house that we did on the channel, that came with a book. It was just basically the same book as Scott did on the big one, and they just repurposed it for the mini block. But the mini block Lowe's sets that I've gotten, 95% of the time have been a piece of paper. It's a large piece of paper. You open it up, you have to fold it, pay attention to where you are. They often have 2 layers at a time that you are putting together. And so the layers that you've done are grayed out, and the ones that you are doing are in color, and they show you one layer on top of your previous build, and then the other layer is above it with arrows pointing to where it should be. Sometimes you have which bricks you're using for each step. Sometimes you do not. This instruction I'm going to put up here for the Lowe's set does not tell me the bricks that I'm using for each set. I found the Nanoblock set. I'm going to show you this one too. I can't find my paper copy, so this is a copy from online. It didn't tell me which pieces go where, and mine didn't, but this one does tell you which pieces go in each step, which was nice because I used that to build my other 2, and it made it much easier for me to be able to find the bricks that I needed. So maybe you can find instructions out there that are a little bit better. With my eyes, I find that if they don't show me which bricks I'm using, that sometimes I have a problem seeing, is that an L or is that a 1x2 and a 1x1 brick? Is that a 4 size brick or is that a 3 size brick? Those are just things that I have problems seeing. Let me know if you deal with mini and you deal with micro block sets and you really like them. Do you have problems sometimes seeing which brick you're supposed to use? Drop a comment below. It could be just my old eyes. The other thing that you're going to find as far as instructions go is typically on a build, your bags are maybe numbered. Sometimes they're very small numbers, meaning they're in black on the clear bag and they're difficult to find. Pay attention to it. Sometimes those numbers actually mean something. Sometimes they do not. There's been a couple of times where I've opened up all the bags and I went, oh, they're numbered. And I could have used the numbers. But 90% of the time, you just got to open up all the bags, throw them out there, and then go find which ones you need. I used to sort them. I used to take the time to sort them all out by color. I don't do that anymore. I just throw them out on the table and go find out the ones that I need and put it together. The last thing that I'm going to say about instructions is that a lot of the times with a micro build, and this is not necessarily true of a mini build or mini builds that I've done, but on micro builds, you put all the bricks out and you have nothing to connect them to. So the first layer is just a collection of bricks that don't sit together. So if you're doing something big, and I have done something big before, they just all move around until you lock in the second layer if it doesn't have a base plate. So that can be something that's kind of difficult when it comes to micro bricks. So I happened to get a set one time that came with this silicone mat that had what looked like studs on it. And I thought, I do not know what the heck this is for. And I kind of put it off to the side and ignored it. And then I realized what it was for. It is to help you build that first layer. And if you are going to do micro bricks and you do not have a base plate, you want one of these. They help you build the layers so it acts like a base plate so that you can put all the stuff together. It holds the bricks in place and then you can peel it off and it's perfect afterwards. I used it at least 4 different times on this set, and I definitely used it on all of my micro block builds. It's a phenomenal investment. The other thing that people have problems with as far as micro bricks go is either the size of their hand or the dexterity of their hand. Not everybody has the same dexterity in their hands or the ability to be able to work with these fine pieces. Some people liken a nanoblock build to a 3D puzzle because it's difficult. They are challenging. Even the small ones can sometimes be challenging. And so what I found is a pair of tweezers help me. I've used tweezers since the beginning, but I have not used the actual brick tweezers. Nanoblock makes a tweezer, so does Lowe's, and I'm going to put a picture of them up here for you so you can see them. They have a little notch in them and they are really helpful when it comes to building and putting those really small pieces on. So as I said, micro build, mini build, they're an acquired taste. You might not like them now. You might not have ever tried them. Are you thinking about giving them a try? Big point. When you're going out and you're looking at Temu, you're looking at AliExpress, you're looking at Amazon, make sure you look at the descriptions. There are a lot of mini and micro block sets out there that don't tell you they're mini and micro block. Actually, Amazon has introduced this new name for it called the mini micro block. Those are micro block sets. Trust me, I was looking for a mini block. I thought it might fit what I wanted. I did look at the size. It wasn't what I wanted. I kept one of them because it's cool castle, but make sure you pay attention. If you're out there on Temu and you have a 2,000, 3,000 piece set and it's only going to cost you like $25, you probably are looking at a micro or a mini block set. Go look at the final size of the build if you can't find the size of the bricks and see if it makes sense. Does it look like a standard block 2,000 brick set? There's 2,000 brick sets out there that are standard block that you could compare it up against and you would know instantly if that is actually the type of brick you're looking at. From someone who said I would never ever do it again, if you've done it once and you're never going to do it again, and you kind of thought, maybe I might give this a try again, try it out again. If I had a suggestion for you, try a mini block set. Try a Lowe's mini block set, and you might find that you really like the mini block over the micro block. 3/4 of the size of Lego is really not that bad, and that small footprint is a lot easier to display than a standard block set is at times. And again, you can find a set that may match the one that you've already built. So if you like building blocks, you like building bricks, maybe you want to give these little small bricks a try. Again, the difference in sizes between these, with the ear falling off, is standard, mini, micro. And thanks for being here. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you supporting our channel. If you haven't already subscribed, maybe you want to subscribe. Hopefully you find something on here that maybe you're interested in. We're always looking to improve. So if you have any suggestions, we're open to hearing from them. Just drop us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.